Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here bringing you another nerdy video. And we are done with the Veilguard for now, but it is time for my full-on final thoughts. Okay, so folks, we played roughly 10.5 hours. There is give or take 30 minutes because I did talk to a friend while I was exploring the lighthouse. And I just want to give proof of the timestamp. So there you go, time played, 11 hours and 14 seconds. Now, towards my final like 2 hours, I want to say, I did heavily focus on the main story. I had some side quests and some companion quests that I did not do because earlier I did do some companion stuff, okay? And I felt like, okay, for my final two videos into Veilguard for this dive, I want to focus on the main story. So I did. Now, I'm going to get to some of the critiques first, because I do have some critiques that I feel like it heavily hurt this game. Okay? But they're not what you think. So, starting off, this game does not have the keep system. It does not utilize Dragon Age keep, which in my opinion is a fucking dreadful, horrible idea. Absolutely horrible idea. On BioWare, I have no idea if it's because of EA, if it was a decision by BioWare. I don't know who made the decision. Someone made the decision for this to not have any access to Dragon Age Keep. And it is fucking terrible. It is a terrible decision. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Dragon Age Keep, because Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 were on the 360 and Dragon Age Inquisition was on the Xbox One, so now, okay, it was on other consoles and they all were on the PC, but I'm just giving context from my own experience, but that they were on different gens, okay? So because of that, in order to import your save or your decisions from Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, someone came up with the idea of, okay, what if we had a website that could access possibly your saves, or that if you didn't have saves, that you could then log into and make decisions, and then it will import your decisions to your game. Now, mind you, you did need to have an EA account for this to work, but again, it's a very good decision. Very similar to what they did with Mass Effect 2 and 3. But again, they didn't do this for Dragon Age The Veilguard. I don't know fucking why. It is a fucking dreadful decision. It is god awful. Okay? Just absolutely god awful. Okay. Moving on. Another big critique I have came in my final part video, where we are introduced to our first warrior companion. Now, our companions, like, we are given a rogue companion to start off with. Two rogue companions to start off with, Harding and Varric. But then Varric gets basically disabled, and he is replaced by Nev. a mage. Followed then by Balara, another mage. Who then is followed by Lucarius, who is a rogue. And then we finally have, I can't remember his name because I literally just encountered him, but our first warrior. Now, that is, you might have noticed, folks, we have 3 female companions introduced to us and then 2 male. And that is a little weird coming from a Bioware. Normally in a Bioware game, our party is a bit more diverse in terms of abilities and whatnot. Also, pretty much every single companion I've seen so far, with the exception of the warrior, I have not fully dived into his skill system. Actually, you know what? Maybe we can now view his skill system because we are able to view the others. So hold on, we're going to see if we can view our warrior skills. Because, so here we go. Skills. Oh wait, no, we should be going into companions. There we go. So yeah, okay, we actually can see them at any time, everyone. So as you can see, Balara has healing. Darwin. Okay, wow, Darwin is the first companion that we have that doesn't actually have a healing ability. That is quite interesting. And Darwin is actually one I'm going to be complaining about, folks, because there is something that I really wish. Attacking the party. Okay, why wasn't that? Okay, so he does have a taunt ability. Have not really seen him use it. Hold on, details. So okay, so he does actually have an ability to taunt enemies. Didn't really see him use it at all. We don't really see the ability for. There's no tactics system, folks, in this game, so I'm really hoping that they do use their abilities. But anyway, so continuing on. So Harding has a healing ability. Lucanus has a healing ability. Funny enough, his ability is not there. Oh, you have to equip them. Okay, so wow. Okay, so that is interesting. So he can't. I don't think he can use his healing ability. Let's test this out. Okay, so Darwin has how many abilities? He has 5 abilities. Which ones are not equipped? Okay, that's sweeping one. What's it called? Heroic Strike. Let's see if Heroic Strike pops up when we press RB. No. So I'm going to assume that he cannot use that ability, like, at all. So he cannot use that ability at all. So, like, okay, so even though all these companions do get access to healing abilities, unless we have it equipped to them, they're not going to use it. But the thing is also, Knave also has a healing ability. Now, hers is not currently equipped. So yeah, there we go. So that is interesting. So I suppose this is supposed to allow us to better control what our companions can and cannot do. So, for example, we have someone who can detonate weakened. So it'd be good to also build her to have, or other companions to do that, as opposed to how she currently has the ability just to detonate sundering. So yeah, okay. So not all companions can utilize all their abilities. But I do feel like, okay, so he does have an ability that hunts, so that's going to change the situation, folks, about my complaints. Because when we first met Darwin, in the mission that we met Darwin, he only had a sand strike and death from above. He did not have a third ability. So it will change things if the companions will use abilities without us giving them orders. Then yeah, that changes things. That changes things completely. Then yeah, he will actually be a way better formidable tank. And in fact, I would actually build him into his tanking ability. So yeah, there we go. Like, it even has an auto-firing ability if it's not on cooldown. And we can even lower the cooldown. Now, there's also a radius to take into account. So let's see, what's the radius? Okay, so we can either make him potentially tank more often, or we can make him tank in a wider area. Ooh, ouch. So we don't get any other radius or cooldown changes. But okay. But either way, I'm hoping this allows him to fulfill, because he has this ability now, I'm hoping it fulfills him to tank more often. Because during that mission, the only way we could have made him tank is if we issued the order, attack my target. Which is, he gained the ability from, I believe, his shield. Yeah, there it is. Attack my target applies tank. So, and yeah, there we go. There's the details bit, like command a companion to attack your target if they're able to. So there we go. It's some that I am not a fan of. Like, I was not a fan of during that mission. It was very infuriating. The other thing is, he seemed during that mission there were moments where he just stood there. In past missions, our companions seem to be very good receptive AI, and again, I do believe they will use their abilities independently, because I'm pretty sure I saw like Harding and Bellerad do their own abilities, and I think I've seen Nave do her own abilities without me issuing commands. So yes, so maybe my complaint about him not being a good tank is unfounded at the moment. Because of the fact that, like, I have not experienced them outside of his introductory mission. So yeah, okay, that possibly vaguely eliminates that complaint, counteracts that complaint that I had. Another big thing that I have issue with in this game is, how should I put it? There seems to be there are moments where the face animations are quite expressive, and I quite like them. There are some moments where it feels like they chose the wrong animation. This has been mostly happening with Nave in particular. See, it's just that, like, her face just always seems like she's smiling, so I guess she has, like, resting, cocky face. I don't know what you would call it. She just always seems to have, like, some kind of hint of a smile or something. I don't know. Like right there, like, she has, like, not everyone is constantly smiling. Hold on, it'd be better if I moved this off that. Like, Bellerad seems to vaguely have it. So, like, some of the characters have, like, different expressions, I guess, as their default. expression. I do like the banter between Lucanus and Nev, so I do like the fact that your companions talking to one another is still a thing. I'm really glad for it. I like how your character will sometimes speak up. Now in Dragon Age 2, your character would have a general attitude. Sorry, those sounds, folks, are coming from my bottle. I just opened it. I need a drink. Okay. So, your character, similar to in Dragon Age 2, your character would have, like, I suppose, like an overarching attitude, depending on which type of decisions you made more often. So, it seems like that might be the case in this. Based on some of your earlier decisions, or like the way when we first had an option, there was a whole thing like, are you a more direct approach or what? And Varric, that type of notation. So, with that, I feel like we might be having that similar here because our character will sometimes just speak up. Like they don't. It does not always give us every single decision like there are moments where our character will speak something without us having any kind of option. But it doesn't happen often. I do want to specify that, folks. It does not happen often. But yeah, I always seem to struggle with reading Naves. Now, it's because of her outfit and, again, her hairstyle. Like, her hairstyle covers, like, a good bit of her face, and I've always felt like I struggled to read her expression because of it. Now, Harding and Bellerat, absolutely, they're very, like, with everyone else, I can't speak for Darwin because he's just been added to the party, but Harding, Lucanus, and Bellerat, I can very much easily be like, okay, so that's how they're feeling at this particular moment, or as they're saying this. So, like, because they are quite expressive, whereas Nev does not seem to be expressive. But again, I suppose that's just her character's personality. Alright, so that's me talking about the facial. Now, okay, continuing on the facial animation issue. There's sometimes a bit of a delay. Now, I don't know if again, I'm terrible with facial expressions, folks. I'm like, to me, it feels like the timing is slightly off at certain moments with some of the companions about, like, when they express emotion on their faces. It feels like it's just slightly off. I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else feels that way, but there you go. So, is there anything else that I have a big issue with so far in this game? Okay, actually, you know what? I would this will be something that is an issue for me. I wouldn't say it is an issue overall because this is very much Dragon Age 1 and 2. I prefer now, me personally, this is me personally, folks, okay? But I preferred the open world setup of Dragon Age Inquisition. That's my personal preference. Now, I first played I played Dragon Age when it first came out. I played Dragon Age 2 when it first came out. I played a bit of Dragon Age Inquisition when it first came out. Like, I'm a long time Dragon Age fan, and I personally just preferred the open world setting of Dragon Age Inquisition, where they plop you down on a map. The maps are fucking huge, and you can explore such large areas. Dragon Age The Veilguard seems to have returned back to Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 approach to environments, where when you're doing a mission, other areas are going to be inaccessible, and your exploration area is not quite as big. Now, mind you, I will say, in earlier sections of the game when we could, now I haven't not actually gone back to certain areas to do deep dive exploration. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the maps are bigger than what I feel like. It just feels like, actually no, maybe I'm wrong, because it does feel like the maps have a lot more like, especially with Minrantis in the city. It definitely feels like it is way more like vertical than it is like, width in terms of the map scope. Maybe, again, I might be wrong. I will say the crossroads is definitely the biggest. However, that is sort of like, that's sort of broken up into like little mini loading screens whenever you get on the ship. Sorry, the little boat rowed by Caretaker, and he brings you to the quote unquote island. And there's a lot of like places to explore that you would probably need your companions to get to. And again, we've seen that in when we tried to explore Mindatus. There was an area that I needed to combine Nev's ability outside the map and Lucanus's ability to explore outside the map. So again, interesting combinations. You have, in some cases, to unlock puzzles, you need to use two companions' abilities. I do like how they try not to lock you out of certain exploration by needing to have the right companion with you at the right time. You just need your companion to have their exploration ability unlocked. And essentially your dagger, for some reason, allows you to access their abilities. So if we came across a construct, instead of having to have Bellara with us, I just need to have my dagger. I just need her to actually have her ability, which she does. So I find that quite fascinating that they decided to take that approach. I think it would have been cool if it would have encouraged us to go back to our bases sometimes to swap out party members, so that way we can hear different banter between our companions. Just my opinion. I would have liked the idea of having to make us, swap out companions in order to use their different exploration abilities. It's a bit more accessible, so I will say that. And actually, speak back to the whole healing abilities. I will say, even though it may sound like I was complaining that so many of our companions can heal, I'm actually not really complaining. And that is because in Dragon Age 2, you had only one companion that could heal. Anders. That was it. In Dragon Age 1, you could basically turn any mage into a healer. Now, if I remember correctly, what's her name? Wayne. Wayne was the best, because she started off with this subclass that, that is the best, and she can teach other companions it as well. Or unless you already talked to her to teach people, then you unlocked it then for everyone in future playthroughs. But in Dragon Age Origins, any mage could be your healer. Dragon Age 2, only Anders or only the player character could be healer. That was very frustrating. Absolutely hated it. I can't say for Dragon Age Inquisition. I cannot recall. I don't even think I recruited all the companions in Dragon Age Inquisition. But yeah, there you go. But at least with Nave, Bellara, Harding, and Lucanus, like, that's 4 companions that you could equip a healing ability on. That is pretty good. I like that. It gives us a bit more flexibility of party composition. So far, though, Davrin is the only one that can taunt enemies. So I should. He has to be in every single party, but like in future party composition, Darwin. If I'm playing a mage, Darwin is always going to be in the party. He will always take up some kind of slot in the party unless I get another tank, or unless the game does not let me have him travel with us. But even though he's always going to be there, I can pick Ballarat to be with us, or I can pick Harding to be with us, or I can pick Lucanus. I could pick any of the other four to travel with us, and outfit one of them with a heal ability. So, like, I do really like that. I really like the fact that like I could have Darwin, myself, and any of the other four travel with us, and we would still have some level of healer in the group. Really glad about that. Let's see. Okay, now here's another complaint. So far, I know, folks, we're 30 minutes in, and all I've done is complain. Well, I had one compliment, but like I do have positives, folks. I do have positives. Just please bear with me. Another big issue. Now, this ties back to my first issue that I brought up with the Dragon Age keep, or the lack of it in this game. Now, clearly, this game takes place a good bit after Inquisition. Varric appears considerably older, and so does Dorian, another Inquisition companion. So, give me one sec, folks. I actually want to look at the timetable of the Dragon Age Veilguard timeline. So, let's see. How long has it been? Dragon Age Veilguard takes place 10 years. What? So, okay. So, it has been 22 years. It's been 22 years since Dragon Age Origins, folks. Which apparently puts, according to the devs, it puts the characters, any warden characters from those two games at risk, as that they're approaching their calling, which is when a Grey Warden typically goes down. But it takes 10 years after Inquisition. Okay, that is actually a pretty decent time jump. I can see why maybe they felt like it was okay to not have too many imports. Like I can sort of understand that. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about something that was mentioned to us in Origins. Oh shit. Okay, folks. I can see why they probably didn't touch on Dragon Age Origins, because, well, okay, no, there are other characters, but apparently when you join the Grey Wardens, you only have 30 years to live. So with it being 22 years, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm starting to see some of their logic, and again, a decade after however Inquisition ends in terms of the conflict between mages and Templars, okay, I can sort of see why there's not as many decision import system as opposed to other BioWare games. Okay, I'm starting to see it now. Now, that being said, I still see, with it being 10 years, do you really? Wow, is this counteracting that info? Oh wow, folks, I'm in a tricky situation. 10 years after the events of Inquisition and 22 years after Dragon Age 1. How long, in terms of the timeline, how long is those the events of Dragon Age 2 take place? Dragon Age 2 timeline. Wow. Oh god, my stomach is rumbling. It's almost time for me to make lunch, folks. Okay. Timeline. We're in the year of the dragon. Okay. Uh, the fire on dark responsive word plays quickly quelled by the ground. Battle of Ostergard, amid the Civil War, two surviving wardens, 3 night. Okay, that's not really helping. We need to go to Dragon Age 2. Time period. Here we go. Dragon Age chronological. So, oh wow, I can literally feel my goddamn stomach rumbling like it's crazy. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to find this start of Paragon Bronca takes her entire house. We're scroll down a bit more. Okay. Turn low gain returns to Rome to clear the Stone region. The events described in Dragon Age 2 begin. What year? 930. The events of Dragon Age Origins begins at 9 at the at the 30th age of the dragon. Lotharing is destroyed by Darkstar and the Male family, along with Aveline, flee Kirkwall. Then 1 year later is the end of Dragon Age 1. So the events of let's see. I'm looking for. Okay, yeah. So 931 is when the events of Dragon Age 2, we fund the expedition into the Deep Roads. So yeah, it's 931. So 930 is the start. We're looking for the end, folks. Give me a sec. 40. Let's scroll up. Okay, 7 years, folks. Okay, so it's about 7 years. So, okay, so the events of Dragon Age 2 takes place over 7 years. And it ends roughly at 937. And then when does Inquisition start? Events. Okay, so Inquisition starts at 941, and the events of Inquisition end. The DLC Trespasser and take place in 944. Okay, so 944. And then 10 years after that is Veilguard. So, yeah, wow. Wow. So, the shit, okay, yeah. Maybe enough time has gone by that you don't really need to import because, one, your warden character is dead. Any kind of interaction you would have had, the only big there's okay, the only lasting effects that would have been in Dragon Age from Dragon Age Origins would have been the dwarves of Ozamar. How like are they? How's their relations with surface dwellers? Whether or not did your character have a romance with Morgan, having a child with Morgan, and then following her into the Illuvian, which we don't know. I don't know what happens after that because of thing. I know Morgan shows back up in Dragon Age Inquisition. So I don't know what the story is with that yet, and she shows up again in the Veilguard. So I don't know quite yet how all that plays out. But yeah, that's it, and that's it, folks. That's the only major decisions that. Oh, whether or not does Bronn get you? No, sorry. Why not do the Dwarves of Ozamar have the means of making more golems? That is another big import, folks. Sorry, that is another big important. So there's really only 3 consequences from this time frame of 22 years. Like, could anything impact Dragon Age The Veilguard? Now, in Dragon Age 2, the only other big impacts would be relationships with the Quinari. Because we have the DLC from Legacy. Oh, no, sorry, not Legacy, from Mark of the Assassin. That they're the names of people who secretly work or have connections to the Quinari in other kingdoms and whatnot. So that's one big decision. And your relationship with no, because Sebastian was only interested in then taking out Anders and like basically doing the Rite of Annulment on Kirkwall. So even if whether or not is he leading his people is a bit of up in the air. And that was it. And even then, Sebastian was a DLC companion character. Yeah, it's all just relations with the. See, no, because even then, your only big relationship with the Quinari is whether or not you killed the Arashok. Nothing else. Shit. Yeah, there's really. Oh wait. Maybe the mage boy that lives in the Winter Imperium that can. He has a special power over the Fade, so maybe he's important. But I don't see why it would have an impact on the Veilguard, because I know that's a decision that comes up in Inquisition because it's part of Dragon Age Keep. And I don't know enough about your decisions that you can make in Dragon Age Inquisition. You know what, folks? We need to. What were the big decision-making things?
Dorellis grounds.
We need to go back to the main menu.
Gotta hurry.
Apparently, you get 4 important decisions in regards to Dragon Age Inquisition. And with the game being set 10 years after the events.
I knew him as Solus. Smart, thoughtful, love.
We don't care about all this section, folks. We're just... Fine. We're just trying to get to the customers. Make changes. So you have our romanced. Whether or not the Inquisition disbanded or joined with the Chantry. And how we ultimately like whether or not we swore to put an end to it. And then this is just like, I guess, a summary. Yeah, that's... That's about... Right. I don't know why the romance... we'll find out at some point. But yeah, no, that's about it. Like, we can edit our Inquisitor's lineage to be an elf. We can change their appearance, their name. I guess their class doesn't really matter. Right. Okay, shit. Alright. So I guess maybe it doesn't matter, because like again, it's a long time. Shit. Okay, maybe they don't need that many import options, folks. Oh, we can't back out to the main menu. Oh yeah, there we go, we can. What was that import option? Hold on, folks.
I knew him as Solus.
Skip.
Smart.
Oh, we can import our previous character. You will import your character. The character may be modified how you like to think the following import appearance. Okay, yeah, so it's not New Game Plus. It's simply just their appearance. But okay, fuck. Alright, so I guess the 10 years time span, shit. And the Inquisition takes place a couple of years after Dragon Age 2, and you have no real, besides from the whole civil war between mages and Templars, there is no big world-defining decisions. Fuck. Okay, yeah, so you don't need to import anything from Dragon Age 2 for Dragon Age The Veilguard. And only 3 decisions would matter, in my mind, from Dragon Age Origins. Wow, folks. Dear God, shit. Now, I don't know enough about Inquisition. Maybe I would have a different opinion on what decisions matter if I played Inquisition to its completion. But so far, I'm like, holy shit, okay. Maybe they don't need that much of an import system. Okay. So, Okay, I want to get to the positives, folks, now. Shit, okay. The positives of Dragon Age The Veilguard. Combat, very satisfying. The combat is just very satisfying. I love the combo, like how easy it is to do the combos of abilities. Combo abilities were difficult to pull off in Dragon Age 2. I don't recall if they were easier to do in Dragon Age Inquisition, so don't quote me, but they were very easy to do in this game. I absolutely really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. The combat is just really good. I really enjoy it. I will say, without a tank, the enemy does seem to really focus on the player character. And so a big critique I would have is, maybe instead of giving us a rogue, a mage, and a mage, and then another rogue, what they should have done was rogue, mage, tank. So yeah, I would have swapped. Instead of getting Lucarius or Ballarat, instead of having Ballarat be our third companion, I would have picked some kind of warrior companion instead. Otherwise, the game is very difficult starting off. In my opinion, I struggled with the enemy, always so focused on me. Let's see. Other positive. Graphics wise and sound wise, the game is fantastic. Atmosphere wise, also fantastic. Especially when I during the mission, the Shadows Crossing, when we went to that blighted village, the atmosphere was absolutely spot on. I thought it was fantastic. It was dark, it was creepy, all the tentacles all over the place, the people basically being enveloped by the tentacles. I honestly felt like it was just fantastic. Now that's my opinion. When it comes to that type of stuff. Dialogue. The dialogue is okay. Okay, here's the thing. Is the dialogue absolutely 100% perfect? No. It absolutely is not. And I'm going to be honest with you folks, no games. I have played a good number of games that have some great dialogue and some amazing dialogue, but nothing was perfect. There was issues with there's even issues with Dragon Age Origins. There was issues in Dragon Age there were issues in the Dragon Age 1 game, and there was even issues in Mass Effect, the first one, folks. The games that people always praise as peak or perfect. No, be real with yourself. Absolutely not. This what we got was very typical Dragon Age / BioWare dialogue. In my opinion, it was very typical. You have that's all I can really say. It's just very typical. Characters making weird jokes. Or characters trying to cheer themselves up or cheer you get a lot of there's always a moment where characters don't just let dark moments lie. There are some moments, but there's also a lot of moments where a character like would try and bring some level of levity. Like Harding is like, okay, let's go do something about it. That's her attitude whenever something dark is going on. Like, let's put a stop to it. Neve is pretty much like, let's learn more about this, and then obviously then make a plan. Like Neve is always about making a plan, basically. Then there's Bellara, who generally would comment. Like she will just start rambling because she rambles apparently when she gets nervous, and her general attitude is pretty much like, hey, how about this? She will always mention some kind of positive. Again, the dialogue, like a lot of the dialogue does remind me of Dragon Age Origins. Like I get a lot of there are moments that really remind me of Anders. Not Anders. What's his name? Our companion from Dragon Age 1. I chose him to become king. Oh my god, what was his name? Alistair! That was his name. Okay, Alistair. Like, there's a lot of moments like with Alistair. Like Alistair always just would try and make some kind of joking comment. Like he'd be like, and that's bad. So yeah, like the dialogue, like that is a cringy dialogue. So is the dialogue in, actually, you know what? Maybe Veilguard is more akin to Dragon Age Origins than I'm giving it credit for. Maybe it is, because I'm remembering like dialogue between Alistair, Alistair, Zevran, and Alistair, Zevran, and Oghren. Yeah, sorry, Oghren. I'm remembering like those three characters and some of the shit they would say. Like, it's just, oh my god. So yeah, folks, like, again, like, I do feel like the dialogue is actually closer to what we had in Dragon Age Origins than people are giving it credit for. Okay. I talked about the dialogue. Character design of the companions and companions in general. Their designs and their like, I'm pretty much happy with everything when it comes to the companions so far. Now, that I've only recruited 4 out of the 7, and one of those 4. So I've only really got to know 3 out of the 7 folks, and so far they're really good. I really enjoyed them, and that's about it. Like, their designs are very unique. Like, again, I love Bellara's like her whole, like, you can tell she's a tinkerer of ancient artifacts, and I love how one of her arms just coated in all that stuff. I like Neve, her whole detective vibe. Again, she's always like, let's look into this, let's make a plan, like let's think about something. Like, and again, even her facial expressions, like, now mind you, she does also give off an air of, don't tell me what to do. Or what? Sorry, don't tell me what I can't do. She has that type of vibe because of when me and Harding tried to tell her, look, you need to rest. You're still injured from what happened with the ritual. Yeah, no, she kept fighting us on that. So there you go. And again, I do like how even some of the more positive characters have a bit of a darkness to them. Like Bellara, she's generally happy. When she rambles, you can tell she's nervous. But like, she was very quick to agree to our character. She had absolutely no problems, like, with us leaving that mayor to be left to his own devices. after, instead of saving the mayor, because she was upset that her friends and the townspeople, so it makes sense. So I will say, I did like how, there's a little bit there's some darkness in this elf. Okay, so let's talk about the main story so far. Now, with the exception of the side quests that I went on, and some of the exploration I did, I gotta say I'm really enjoying the main story. I like that the main story seems to revolve around us pursuing and trying to combat some eldritch horror stuff. Now when I say eldritch horror, I'm referring to the motif of ancient gods and that are corrupted, and they have and their general design is tentacles, and basically if they have their way, everything is going to be grotesquely mutated by this corruption. That's what I mean by eldritch horror. Now, if there is a better explanation of eldritch horror, then I'm not aware of it. I like the fact that they're trying to set up worshippers or cults. I like how they get into the mind of people and essentially offer them what they desire. For example, when we found the mirror, as we were traveling through that village, we saw we can read notes and letters that explain to us that the mayor he cares more about earning more money for himself rather than spending money on upgrading the docks, doing repairs, all that type of stuff. I get that, but we pretty much get a vibe check on the mayor. We pretty much quickly know about what he's about if you read the letters and whatnot that are scattered throughout the village. But then when we find him, he is the tentacle that's holding him is on top of a bunch of fucking gold, folks. So clearly, that's how these eldritch beings got into it. These ancient gods, quote unquote, got into his mind and why he did their bidding. And the idea that they might be doing the same thing with the Venatari, with their desire for power. And again, it's just, I like that. I like the idea that our antagonists can get into the minds of people and uses their desires. It's very old school. Now it's not old school Dragon Age, but it ties into Dragon Age Origins, the whole vibe of dealing with a blight. Once again, we're fighting a blight, but this is not like the blight that we dealt with in Dragon Age Origins. This is a whole new blight that is being drastically altered because of these two gods, and the fact that these gods have a connection to corrupted lyrium, and which then ties back to Dragon Age 2. It's everything, and then Dragon Age Inquisition seems like it dealt with a lot more with the Fade, and the barrier between the Fade and us, the material world. So it seems like Veilguard is really just a combination of all three games. We're dealing with the Fade, we're dealing with a mutated blight and that has some connections to a corruption that has connections to the red lyrium, which we saw that the red lyrium can drastically corrupt the minds of people that were exposed to it, such as Bartrand and the Templar commander Meredith. And then also the fact that she by the end of it, she was transformed into this shriveled husk of a statue. So yeah, folks, the main story is so far pulling me in. I'm finding myself wanting to dive deeper and deeper into the lore. I'm like, oh my god, I really want to learn more about the like this corruption, this what they call the blight. Like, oh my god, it's so fucking cool. We're learning about like the ancient elves culture and such. I'm finding myself wanting to dive deeper. We're also seeing a part of the Devinter that, to my knowledge, I've never experienced a Devinter. Like we're in the slums of the Devinter's capital. I don't know if it's the capital. Sorry, actually no, it must be because it's the palace. Like we're at the heart of the Devinter, and or the Imperium. I don't know if it's the Devinter Imperium or whatnot. But anyway, we're at the heart of this purely mage-ruled society. We're in the slums, but then, like, when we're in the slums, I feel like I'm in the slums. When I then go to the upper section, where just like when I met the Grey Wardens, like the idea that magic is just so prevalent that they casually use it for fucking neon, folks. Like, it's this, like, I'm finding myself being pulled into wanting to learn more about the lore. That's my point, folks, and I absolutely love it. That's what I love. That's what I love about the Dragon Age games. It's what I loved about the Mass Effect games, is that I always found myself wanting to learn more about the lore, and I'm getting that. Now, I want to address this quote-unquote woke stuff, folks. Now, yesterday when I did one of my videos, I had someone message someone messaged me on the server, because I mentioned that I'm playing the game on the server, and then they replied like, "Oh, the reason why I'm not touching this is because of all this woke stuff." And I'm like, okay, well, I'm almost 8 hours in. I haven't seen it. And they're like, well, in the character creation, you can't make your character have huge breasts. I'm like, so you consider that woke? You can't make a female character with huge breasts? Yeah, that's not woke, okay? Fuck you, no. Like, now mind you, don't get me wrong, folks. My girlfriend would rather be able to make a character, like, have a bit more control over character creation like that. But again, no Dragon Age allowed you to make that type of character. So you would have to say every other Dragon Age game was woke. And that's also... Sorry. And then also, people are saying that they're shoving it in your face in Dragon Age Veilguard because of the mention of pronouns. Yeah, no. Okay, so far, the idea of pronouns has came up none. That's it. It has not came up yet, folks. And as I said, I'm 10 hours into the game. There's been no hint of this, like, what people would consider, like, woke. Like, and also, I just want to point out, they're talking about that they're shoving it in your face. Okay. I want to remind people that in Dragon Age Origins, you literally, your first interaction with Zevran, okay, a beloved character, one of your first interactions with him is he immediately flirts with you. Regardless if you're male or female, he is immediately flirting with you. So, like, he is an extremely openly bi character who clearly has a fetish for leather, because when you talk to him about leather, and then you have, like, you know, you don't have any expressly gay characters, but like all the characters, like, there are two bi romance options. You have Liara and Zevran, and like Zevran constantly mentions, like, oh, he's at your mercy. Like, he flirts with you hard throughout the game. Like, so, like, they are, like, I play Dragon Age Origins as a male character, and the level of pursuit that he puts on you, unless you completely shut him down, is hard. Like, dear God. Then, and then in Dragon Age 2, you have, once again, Zev shows back up. If he survives the events of Dragon Age Origins, he shows back up, and he talks about how you could tie him up and have your way with him, even if you're a male hawk. So once again, folks, like that, like and also you do meet trans characters in the games, but like they just don't mention pronouns. Like, you meet what appears to be a female elf in Dragon Age 2, then the elf talks, and then you quickly discover, oh, it's actually a male elf. So yeah, like, there you go, folks. Like, it's just, it's only with this whole modern shit that people are complaining about stuff being shoved in their face. The stuff has been there the entire fucking time, and I see it with comic books. I see it in other media where people are like, oh, they're pushing an agenda. Like, people complain about the X-Men pushing agendas. The X-Men have always been against racism. They've always pushed the message of, you should treat people nicely, regardless of what they look like or what abilities they have. X-Men has always been anti-discrimination, basically, folks. And I've seen people in the past, like, 10 years, especially because of a certain election because of a certain person winning the 2016 election. That is when shit really, like, this type of complaining really skyrocketed. Clearly, people who did not pay attention to older materials of the franchise or the IP. Okay. Now, there is apparently an infamous scene within Dragon Age The Veilguard where your character does mispronouns a trans character, and you are encouraged to do push-ups. I don't know about that. I have not gotten to that. I've not seen it yet, but like, I'm just like, okay, that's an interesting thing. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know the full context of that scene. So I'm not going to comment on it. Like, but so far, that is, by the sounds of it, that is the only time it's really shoved in your face. Like, if anything, again, I don't know the context, but so I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt that might be a valid criticism. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge that might be a valid criticism. Again, but I might change my mind when I actually get to the scene in my actual playthrough. Now, I'm seeing people saying that this stuff was pushed on. I'm seeing people saying they have 8 hours of gameplay and whatnot, and that stuff's been pushed on. Okay, you know what that tells me now after playing this? You clearly only played. You're rushing through the main story. That's what that tells me. You are rushing through the main story and you like. So I don't know. Because again, I'm about 10 and a half hours in, give or take 30 minutes. I'm taking away 30 minutes from my 11 hours playtime because of that moment I spent exploring the lighthouse, and talking to my friend. Okay, now I'm listening to dialogue. I am taking my time with dialogue. And again, I'm 10 and a half hours in. Minimum 10 hours, folks. And yeah, I am not seeing any kind of messaging being pushed. So clearly, you are rushing the game. But okay, you know what? I spent I spent an hour and 10 minutes talking about this game now, folks. Dragon Age The Veilguard. Ultimate opinion. Is it as bad as everyone makes it out to be? No. It is absolutely not. It is not. Is it a bad Dragon Age game? No. In my opinion, the weakest Dragon Age game is Dragon Age 2, folks. That, in my opinion, is the weakest. Now, I don't know what is the next weakest because of, I have not finished Inquisition and I have not finished Veilguard, so I don't know where to rank them. But so far, Dragon Age 2 is the weakest. The only big positive I had about Dragon Age 2 is there's Dragon Age 2 failed because of, how should I put it? Dragon Age 2 to me fell apart because of the rushness, the constant reusing of assets. Dragon Age 2 was good because of the way they approached combat. Combat felt a lot smoother. Combat was a lot more entertaining, and the animations felt very much more unique. Story-wise, it was okay. The companion, it failed to me. There were several companions that I just absolutely did not like. It failed also because your decisions towards the end felt like they did not really matter too much towards the end. Just personally, I felt like, okay, as much as I've helped mages throughout the game, ultimately, this is the result. All I can really do is make it so that, it ultimately came down to that final decision, really. That's it. It all just comes down to that one final decision. So yeah, there you go. I feel like they could have done so far there was a good bit of things that I felt was a bit done wrong with Dragon Age 2. Now, Dragon Age 2 was rushed, so I'll give it that, but at the moment it is at the bottom of my list. So far, it goes Dragon Age Origins. Actually, Dragon Age Origins, okay, yeah. Dragon Age Origins, mostly due to the story and the plot. Well, okay, yeah, the story and plot is the same thing. Mostly due to the story and the companions. Okay? That's it. That's what's holding up Dragon Age Origins at the top of this list. Mind you, that being said, Dragon Age 2, all the other Dragon Age games beat it so far when it comes to combat and gameplay. Okay? Now, Dragon Age Inquisition could Okay, I'm going to say this, folks. From what little I've played of Dragon Age Inquisition, now I've played a couple of hours of Dragon Age Inquisition, and I've now played about 10 hours of Dragon Age The Veilguard. I'm going to be brutally fucking honest with you. Those two games, in my opinion, can overtake Dragon Age Origins in terms of being my number one Dragon Age game. They absolutely can. So far, again, that my opinion might change by the time I finish those games. Dragon Age Origins could still end up being my number one Dragon Age game. But so far, it is looking like it could be overtaken by Veilguard. Now, the rest of Veilguard, again, it could fall apart just as quickly, folks. Keep that in mind. The rest of Veilguard might make it drop. in terms of that list. I don't think it's going to be worse than Dragon Age 2. I'm fairly certain Dragon Age 2 is going to be at the bottom of my list by the end of this. But yeah, no. Dragon Age Veilguard does not deserve the review bombing that it's getting. I right now I'm just like, okay, no. A lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in Veilguard, I've seen in Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, now that's not necessarily okay. It sounds like okay. It's just a copy paste. No, it is not. But like, I'm seeing basically what I'm saying, folks, is I see a lot of this stuff that made me fall in love with the Dragon Age franchise in Dragon Age Veilguard. I'm seeing the stuff that drew me in into the franchise in this game. Now, unfortunately, Veilguard, I will say, does struggle. It is not a standalone game. You absolutely need to play Dragon Age Inquisition to, in my opinion, fully enjoy Veilguard. And that also being said, you do need to use the Dragon Age keep system to import it to fully enjoy Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, that being said, there is a default state. Sorry, folks. I should mention that there is a default state of Dragon Age that you can just simply import to Dragon Age Keep. So, like, you can play Inquisition by itself. You can play Inquisition without Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age 2. You know, you don't need to know who Varric is. You don't need to know his connection to the start of this whole civil war between Mages and Templars. You can play Inquisition as a standalone Dragon Age game. You can play it as your starter Dragon Age game. However, I would not say the same thing for Veilguard. In my opinion, so far, Veilguard you do need to play Inquisition for. I would highly recommend people, before you play Veilguard, you play Dragon Age Inquisition. But again, that's always the risk with follow-up games. Okay, folks, that's it. I've now spent an hour and about 20 minutes talking about the positives and the negatives of this game. I would strongly recommend Dragon Age Veilguard to Dragon Age fans, especially if you played Dragon Age Inquisition. Or if you're a long-time Dragon Age fan, I would still recommend it because, again, there's the spirit of Dragon Age Origins in this game. I'm the Celtic Nerd. Now, folks, if you disagree with me, feel free to post the comments down below. But again, like, don't just hate on this game because of what other people are saying about it. Now, if you disagree with me, I will highly recommend you. If you disagree with me, fine. But I hope that you, before you disagree with me, folks, this is technically this is video 11 in my reviewing of Dragon Age Veilguard, because I wanted to give it several hours of. When I did this, I wanted to completely showcase what Veilguard. Not completely. I want several hours of actual gameplay footage and evidence to back up my claims. So, folks, if you stuck with me to the end of this video, I hope you will watch my journey to this decision. This is part of a playlist on my channel. If you go to my channel page, if you go to my channel homepage, my dashboard, find my Dragon Age Veilguard playlist. Watch the gameplay that I'm talking about, folks. Watch my experience. Okay? Like, this is not just me. Yeah, this is not just me saying like, oh, I've played X, Y, and Z of Veilguard, and this is why, and this is what I've seen. No, I have videos to back up what I'm saying in the playlist, or at the very least, videos that you can see my journey to get into this opinion, folks. That is what I'm saying. So please, don't just watch this video. Watch my other videos. Make up your own decision on whether or not is Veilguard the right Dragon Age game for you. Now, that being said, I would still recommend it, but don't just watch a YouTuber doing a 30-minute or an hour-long video of just talking about the game without showing you like full context or clips of, you know, like, or showing you like clips of like things. No, you need to see the full context of any kind of situation that they're talking about, and that's why I did this video, this type of review, in this manner. It is not just one video, folks. It's not just an hour. It is there is about 10 hours of footage of me playing Dragon Age Veilguard, coming to this decision, and this video is purely me just expressing my opinion after playing all of what I've went through. Now, has my opinion on certain sections changed? Absolutely, they have. For example, I thought all my character, like I thought the tank system, like not having a tank was bad, like, or how you use your tank companion was bad, until I saw, oh, he actually has an ability that allows me to tank. My opinion at the start of this video was that they needed to have a full recap system or have a full import system, but after doing some research in the in terms of the Dragon Age timeline, no, my opinion has changed. So folks, be open to change. Be open to have your opinions be changed. So if you're willing to give this, if you're on the fence about buying this game, please give it a chance. And if you're worried about having enough time to, let's say if you're worried about getting too far into the game to then not be able to return it, then watch the previous 10 videos I have done on Dragon Age Veilguard at the time of this recording. See what the game has to offer in this, in my extreme depth viewing. Okay? Now, and if you still don't want to buy the game, fine. That is entirely up to you. I am just trying to, I just want to be a voice I want to be a voice. I'm just trying to add to the volume of people that I'm seeing that do enjoy this game, instead of just review bombing it. Now, does this game have areas that it needs to improve on? Yes, and I mentioned that. I mentioned that they should have changed the order of how you got your companions, or changed maybe the classes of some of your companions to better give you a bit more of a balanced party. I pointed out that I would have changed how you do exploration. I would have made it so that you would have to bring a companion, swap out companions to then use their different features to explore the worlds. I also admit that I would have made it more of an open world game than more akin to Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Origins in terms of the being broken up into cells. You know, there are flaws in this game, but I'm not going to just be blind to what positives this game has. You know what I mean? But anyway, folks, again, I've made my sales pitch. I talked about the bads, I talked about the goods. I gave a sales pitch about why you should give this game a chance. I did my encouragement of you checking out my full first 10 hours experience of Veilguard. That's all I can say now. It's up to you. I'm the Celtic Nerd, signing out. One name, one sky.